I always knew at some point I was going to get around to this album. Oh man. What are my thoughts on Offspring Smash? What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another album review, and this time we're on to just a pure classic, an album that really changed everything for rock music in the '90s. Smash. So, the first album I had ever heard, first song I really ever heard was Pretty Fly for a White Guy from Americana. But I had no idea at the time how much Offspring had done prior to that album. And my friend at the time let me listen to Americana. He said, dude, you should check out the other stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And somewhere, no. I bought Americana, and Americana came with this enhanced CD thing where you could watch a couple videos. And I saw videos from other albums, but I didn't know at the time what the albums they belonged to. Did some research, because now the internet's, what it was, or it was better than when I first heard first couple first songs from Offspring's first album, Ignition. So I say, okay, heard a clip of Self-Esteem, and I heard a clip of Gotta Get Away, and I forgot the other song, and I was just like, I'm gonna go get this album. And I remember I went and got Ixnay and Smash, because at the time I was like, well, I already have the fifth album. I don't have the second album yet, but why don't I just get the third and fourth? I mean, it's not like, are they gonna be bad, And from those songs I did hear, I was like, they're cool. Put on Smash, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I had never heard anything at the time, because you gotta remember, I had Green Day, but Green Day, I never heard anything this abrasive. I mean, Green Day's Duke Insomniac and Nimrod, yes, but I had not heard anything from any other band. And then to hear Americana, but then hear Smash, I was like, whoa. So, It's Time to Relax comes on. It's like, okay, what the hell is this? But then Nitro kicks in. Matter of fact, I originally did not like Nitro. When I thought it was too aggressive, too abrasive. I just couldn't get into that song. So at first I was just like, I'll listen to it, but I wasn't listening to it, Get to Bad Habit, and even with that, I was like, what the hell is this? And Bad Habit I really wasn't a fan of either. And Gotta Get Away, I was like, okay, I know this song. Genocide, I was like, okay, this is cool. Something to Believe in, I was like, this is really good. And then I hear Come Out and Play. Come Out and Play. Green Day got me into a lot of almost all the music I listened to. They kind of at one point had a hand in that. They certain elements of a song was something that eventually I would gravitate towards to something else. So I give them kudos for that. But Come Out and Play was so abrasive, so aggressive. The lyrics spoke to me completely. I just totally could relate to that album. Because really, to me, Come Out and Play is about gangs. And some people are like, well, it could be what type of gangs? I'm like, to me, it was about the Bloods and the Crips. That's the only thing I could think of when I heard that song. I didn't personally know any Bloods or Crips. So for anybody watching, I don't know any gangs. But reading up on the thing between the Bloods and the Crips and where they came from and stuff, that song automatically, I don't know why, but it automatically stuck to it was just, I felt that song was about the Bloods and the Crips. And to hear, now some people could say that's not what it was, but for me, the lyrics spoke to me that that's what it was about. And if it wasn't, it was about two gangs. If it wasn't about them, it was about two other gangs. But the point is, to hear a punk rock band speak about something like that, the way it was taught, the way it was said, I was just like, unbelievable. This song, to me, changed my life in regards to, it opened the floodgate to where I was more inclined to listen to anything that was underground that wasn't major label. And again, that's no disrespect to major label bands. I'm just saying Green Day opened me to listening to rock music. But Offspring opened to me to listening to any band that wasn't major label or any hip hop group that wasn't major label. Because it told me that song, and then getting through the rest of Smash told me that you don't have to be major label to make good music. The other thing was that I had no idea that this album had sold as much as it did. When I finally found that information, I was completely just like, even now, just looking at retrospect, to this day, it just says, it can be a constant reminder to people that you don't have to listen to Offspring, you don't have to listen to punk rock. However, you can't deny that for an album to sell 16 million copies and it's not major label, it says a lot to this day. The other thing I felt that it said is that underground music can make money. People can buy that type of music. Major label is not the only thing that can sell. And the last thing I would say, because I don't know if Offspring got shit. I know Green Day did for Dookie. But I would also say is like, so if a band makes music that just is underground but it sells a bunch of copies, does that make them a sellout? If everybody wants the fucking album? Because you know that whole thing where the punk police or the underground police on what music is allowed for people to listen to, it's kind of like, fuck you. This album definitely gave that vibe. But yeah, it opened. If it wasn't for that song and this album, I never would have listened to Rancid. I never would have listened to Operation Army. I never would have got into NoFX. I never would have listened to Bad Religion. I never would have listened to Rancid. I never would have been more open to listening to anything that's not from major label. Not because major label had me by the balls. It was just I never considered that in my musical background and education. But yeah, going, and then Self-Esteem I already knew, but going from Come Out and Play to Self-Esteem and then the rest of the album, and then Smash too. And the funny thing is, I'll get into that, but the ending of Smash, I'll talk about that with Ixnay. That was just like, what the hell? So, over time, Smash, I actually paid a lot more attention to the album's lyrics and the name of the songs as opposed to Ignition at the time. And it took, I would say, Nitro and Bad Habit took longer for me to get into the rest of the album. However, I think the best lyrics of the album that I can relate to the most besides Come Out and Play is Bad Habit, because if you're a driver, you're going to know what I'm talking about, because that but then listening to Nitro now, it's just like, it's to me, I think Nitro is the best opener for any of the music that Offspring has released. I don't think anything beats it. I think their openers for their albums are cool. They're all, I don't dislike any of them, but none of them have been able to kick Nitro off of the top spot for me, at least. Others might think differently, but Nitro is just, it's an amazing song. My rating for this album is 10 out of 10 yes sirs, definitely. It's just nothing that I didn't like. I mean, as I say this now, when I first heard it out, I could have told you, nah, Nitro bad habit, no. But my top 5 tracks that come out and play: Self-Esteem, Nitro, Gotta Get Away, and of course Smash. If you've never heard this album, I don't know what to tell you. I would say if out of all Offspring albums, this is the one definitely you should listen to if you're going to listen to the band. So, with that being said, let's cue the music.
You gotta keep them separated. Separated.
Hey! The man you're disrespecting me. Take him out.
You gotta keep them separated.
Hey!